Good afternoon, good morning, good evening to whoever might be listening, watching this broadcast tonight. We want to welcome every one of you to the Emergency Management Associates broadcast on this special evening, Friday, April 23rd, 2021. We want to welcome everybody to the Emergency Management Associates Preparedness channel. We have been thinking about this since last night. We decided to go ahead and broadcast on this particular channel to get people over to this channel. So folks, if you have not already subscribed to this channel, please do so. This is the Emergency Management Associates Preparedness channel. We have talked about trying to rename it as Emergency Management Associates 2, and Google would not let us do this. Google would not let us do this. Now, this is a test, okay? I believe my assistant here is trying to give me some information here, and I want to make it clear what is going on. We are putting this on this channel, this broadcast on this channel tonight, so everyone can be advised of what is going on. We have in prior nights for the past 2 years gone on the main channel that has 15,320 plus people that have subscribed to the channel. This is a test to see if we can get more people to our channel. Okay, right now we have 253 subscribers on this particular channel. I want to get people over on this channel. This is the backup channel. Tonight's broadcast will be on this channel. If you have not subscribed to this channel already, please subscribe to this channel. It is of utmost importance that you subscribe to this channel. And when you do subscribe, hit the bell icon. The bell icon will allow you to be notified when we use this channel and go live. Okay? I have wanted to put just preparedness information on this channel, and that may very well happen in the near future. But for now, we're broadcasting tonight's program on our backup channel here on YouTube. Now, with that said, okay, I have spent a good deal of the day putting together another backup channel. That one is on locals.com. On locals.com, you can go to this channel, Emergency Management Associates 2. Okay, we will be broadcasting on this channel at least from time to time until we get people over there. Now, the important thing about locals.com, in order to broadcast more than a 30-minute program per day, we have to have at least 1,000 subscribers. 1,000 subscribers. Right now on our Emergency Management Associates channel, we have 15,300 plus subscribers. The interesting thing about locals.com, they require a $5 subscription rate per month. Now, you do not, I am going to repeat, you do not have to subscribe to our channel on locals.com to be able to watch the program. But in order for us to do more than just broadcast a 30-minute program 30 times per month, we have to have at least 1,000 subscribers. At that point in time, we can broadcast any time we want and broadcast anything we want without being censored. And here on YouTube, we are being heavily watched. heavily, heavily watched. So in order to not be censored, we need at least 1,000 subscribers on our Emergency Management Associates 2 channel on locals.com. And you can find that channel, okay? It's fairly easy to find. You can go to locals.com and search for Emergency Management Associates 2, just as you see it on this banner that I put up here for you to see. Okay, so I wanted to make this completely clear. We do have another backup channel on locals.com, Emergency Management Associates 2, just like we promised. Now, I am looking at Brighteon.com. I am talking to Mike Adams over at Brighteon, and I'm trying to work a deal where he will allow us to broadcast, one, not be censored, and two, allow anybody to watch our program, and three, be able to broadcast any number of programs per day and per month, like we have here on YouTube. Again, I do not want to be censored. I'm tired of YouTube telling me what I can and can't say. I am fed up with it. Every one of you and the entire world deserves to know what is going on. And frankly, that is exactly what I intend to have happen. I am going to be on a channel and say what I want to say on that channel. I'm going to show videos of people saying what they need to say in order to get the message out, if you know what I mean. Politically, scientifically, technology-wise, whatever the case is, I will not be censored. If YouTube wants to censor me, they're going to have to take me down. And take me down they will. They have promised to do that. Okay? Now, Hurricane Heather's asking, did I lose my mod? No, you have not lost your mod. On this channel, I have to make you a mod again. Okay? Hurricane Heather has been made a mod. Okay? She's not the only one that I'm going to make a mod on this channel. I appreciate Heather doing this for us. I appreciate all of you being there for us here on this channel. Okay? Again, I wanted to broadcast on this channel so that everyone would be able to figure out where this channel was and be able to subscribe to it. That's why we're on this channel tonight. Make no mistake about it. We will get our message heard, and we will get our message heard by everyone. Okay? Vicki Kellogg says, testing on the other channel. No, we're testing on this channel tonight. I want to see how many people we can get on this channel tonight and get people to subscribe to this channel too. Okay? Vicki Kellogg says only subscribers to this channel would have gotten the broadcast notice. That is entirely correct. However, people that want to know that we're on the air, when they go to YouTube, they can go to Emergency Management Associates, and they will find this channel and find that we are live, and they will be able to subscribe to this channel. So I am making it perfectly clear what we are doing and why we are doing it. Okay? Susan Thompson says, can you put a link? Okay, I think you're referring to locals.com. I just gave you all of the information. I can't give you a link unless I go to another computer and pull up the information and then try to copy and paste it to me and then copy and paste it to you all over again. It seems like a lot of work, which I'm willing to do. I do have another computer that I have access to. Okay, I want to make sure that everyone has the opportunity to know where this channel is and to pass on the information. Okay, Isaiah's granny is here. Heather is here. Two of my mods. We love and appreciate each of you ladies. God bless you for this. Please pass on this information to Scooter Pie, to Dawn, to Surgery, and to the others. Okay? We'd appreciate it. I will pass it on to Surgery as well. I think Surgery already has this channel subscribed to. I believe Scooter Pie also has this channel subscribed to. So please pass this information on. You can go on Messenger, whatever it takes. Please pass this message on to everybody so we can get people over here. We'd really appreciate it. Now, I have plenty of information to share with you tonight. Okay, not just about our Emergency Management Associates 2 channel on locals.com. First off, I want to talk about a volcano in Iceland. Many of you people already know about this, but I want to make sure everyone is aware of this. As of yesterday, the volcano in Iceland opened up yet another fissure. This is fissure 4, and it started spewing lava. Here is the information about that.
This volcano in Iceland is really making up for lost time. A new fissure opened and started spewing lava on Monday. Hundreds of hikers that have come to see the volcano have had to evacuate. This new crack is about a half-mile from the original eruption site, and one expert thinks it could signal a new phase of the eruption is starting. Officials have closed the area that's been packed with visitors for weeks. About 30,000 people have gone to see the volcano since the eruption started in March. Before that, it had been dormant for 6,000 years.
Okay. Again, we put this information out about 3 weeks ago when this volcano started erupting. This volcano had not been erupting for 6,000 years. Now it has opened up a total of 4 cones or fissures. The hot molten lava that has erupted out of the first, second, and third cones has now filled up 2 valleys. The 4th fissure just opened up and is spewing lava out of that fissure, and as you saw, it is spewing a river of lava. And it is more fierce than the first 3 fissures or cones that opened up on this Icelandic volcano. So it's not over yet. The only good thing about this volcano is it has a low level velocity, meaning it is not shooting thousands, tens of thousands of feet in the air. It is shooting maybe 15, 20, 50 feet into the air. But that is all it's doing. However, the molten lava that it has been putting out now is not just spread, but is spreading at a faster rate. Spreading at a faster rate. So that is our report about Iceland. All of you needed to know about that. Okay? I am not yet going to report on that video that I showed a picture of, that nurse that is trying to put out information about the stick. I'm going to go to another broadcasting venue to show that video. I want to make sure that everyone is going to be able to have that information. It is vital that that information get out. Now, it is on Messenger. It is not on Facebook. It is on Facebook Messenger, the chat on Messenger. Why? Because Facebook has already said on Messenger that it is false information. If I were to put it on my Facebook page, I've already been warned once about 3 or 4 weeks ago about putting out false information, that they would take me down and shut down my page permanently. Again, I'm not willing to do that on my Facebook page as of yet. Yes, I am on MeWe. That video will go on my MeWe page. I have not put it there yet, but that's where it is going. So those of you that want to see that video before I'm going to go live on the air with it, you can go over to my MeWe page probably after tonight, and I will show you that video. It is also vital that everybody understands what is going on. Okay? That stick is dangerous, regardless of what anyone says. Now, I want to talk just a little bit more about that. As of 2 days ago, Johnson & Johnson was forced to stop manufacturing the medicine for the stick. And why? Because the side effects of it. Today, Johnson & Johnson was allowed by the FDA to continue manufacturing and distributing it with strict warnings attached to it. To me, that is horse hockey. As Colonel Sherman Potter from MASH used to say, it's horse hockey. Why would you put out any kind of stick that is dangerous to the public, that you have to put strict warnings on? Okay? Yes, people have been dying of it. Okay? I'm not going to stop telling people that. Okay? I'm not going to stop talking about it. Kenneth Oliver says if giving out false information can get you shut down, they had better start finding other jobs. I completely agree. And in fact, about 3 weeks ago, I spoke to my attorney about it. And what it's going to take is people like me and lots of us to file criminal charges against people like Fauci and Gates, Moderna, Johnson & Johnson, and any others that are doing this. People died. A lot of people have died. Over 5,000 people have gotten this stick. 74 have died. There's a reason for it. Okay? It doesn't matter whether it's blood clots, heart attacks, or whatever the side effect is. That many people dying as a result of that particular stick, it's unconscionable. Okay? And I'm going to tell you why. And if they shut me down, so be it. Because at this point, I think we need to say something. So I'm about to say it right here, right now, on this program. And they can shut me down. I really don't give a damn. Folks, this stick was virtually untested before they released it. Yes, even President Trump had said that they released it in record time, but it was still virtually untested. That tells me that there was a problem with it, and they still have not fully addressed that problem. So folks, when there's that kind of issue, I'm going to take exception to it. And so are you. And we've seen that happen. The great majority of the population of the United States of America has not taken the stick. And we won't. At least me and my family won't do it. There's some other issues here as well. Okay? If you remember in the scriptures it says, "As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord." That's where I'm coming from. As far as I'm concerned, this stick is unconscionable, it's immoral, and unethical. When it causes people to die, they shouldn't be doing it. My other issue is this. Rand Paul, Congressman Rand Paul, interviewed Fauci. Okay, and this was just this week. And Fauci came parading in to the congressional interview room wearing 2 masks. And Rand Paul took him to task. Rand Paul told him, "Why are you parading into this room wearing 2 masks when you know darn well that those masks don't do anything to prevent anyone from getting sick?" He also said this, "Your sticks are not helping anyone. People are still getting sick, whether they've been stuck or not." That was a congressman speaking, guys. People are still getting sick, whether they get the stick or not. Whether they wear a mask or not, they're still getting sick. The CDC this week reported that the masks don't do anything to help you from getting sick. They can't stop whatever it is that's out there traveling in the environment or traveling around other people. The masks don't stop it. The particles, the bacteria, the germs are smaller in size than the fibers of the masks. The cloth masks don't stop anything. So that diaper that everybody is wearing on their face won't protect you. The stick won't protect you. Okay? Now, Olivia Jones just asked me a few minutes ago if they'll censor what I just told you. Okay? They probably will. They may take my entire work off this venue. Okay? They may take my entire work off this venue. And if they do, so be it. I have other places that I will go to. And I will let everybody know where I'm at. Okay? They're not going to stop me. Okay? They're not going to stop me. I've had it. I've had it. Olivia Jones asks, "Isn't this channel part of it? Also, will they censor this?" Yes, they're going to. I can be almost assuredly, without question, that they're going to censor this. They may take this part of the video off, or they may take this program completely off, and or not let me broadcast on this venue for upwards of a week or a month. And they've warned me about that. And then if I continue to talk about this in violation of their policies, which are failed policies, YouTube's failed policies, they'll turn my channel off completely. You guys can find me over at locals.com. You can probably find me on brighteon.com, rumble.com, and possibly one or two others. But when you find me, you need to tell everybody where I'm at. Because wherever I land, I'm going to be honest with you, just as I've been honest with you about everything during the last 2 years. Anne Marie says, we are the test subjects. Yes, we are. Okay? Now, as Terry spoke last night, they're sticking stuff up into our nose, into our nasal cavities, which are just below the framework of our brain here. There's only a thin membrane between our sinus cavities, our mouth, our nose, and our brain. And when they put that crap up into our sinus cavity, on that swab, they are potentially sending that bacteria and that dangerous protocol that they put in that stick and put on those swabs. They're potentially hitting our brain from the moment they do it. From the moment they put those quote unquote test swabs, from the moment they put those into our body, that's called an invasive procedure. And there's a very good chance with any one person that doing so could kill them. And it has. I personally know of someone that, one, watches this channel, and two, are personal friends of mine. And the person's sister had the stick. The second one nearly killed her. And they had to rush her into an operating room and give her a spinal tap to save her life. It's a true story, guys. They had to give her a spinal tap to reverse whatever it was that was in that stick. So, folks, I'm telling you this because I want to get the truth out there. If they turn me off, let them. Because we will go elsewhere. We will go elsewhere. Olivia Jones is talking about remembering that diet pill years ago that was approved, and a couple years later people were having heart problems and they were dying. Yes, I do remember that. All of us should remember that. Now, folks, we have another issue here. Okay? I reported on it last night. And it's going to come out again and again and again. And there needs to be an investigation done. Let there be no mistake about it. There needs to be an investigation done. Anytime someone has anytime someone has been made sick because of this, that, or the other thing, whatever it is should stop. Whatever it is should stop. No one should have to die or be used as a sacrificial lamb for any of this. And in fact, I'm going to take it a step further than that. In most cases, if that were to happen, they would stop doing it immediately. But in this case, because everything is coming from the elites of society, and it is being forced down our throats, they believe that they can just do it without anyone saying anything further about it. I have issues with that, as most of you would. So I'm going to stop with that. I think I've talked enough about it. Last night I broached the subject of a college where the left wing of the Communist Party at the college, students at this prestigious college, reportedly complained that automatic soap dispensers are racist. Okay? This story broke on theblaze.com. So I am going to give them courtesy kudos for breaking the story. Now, my first thing is this. The establishment wants everybody to wash their hands all the time, repeatedly wash their hands to keep from getting sick from this sickness. So now we have these lunatics that want to run the asylum that are telling us that soap dispensers are racist. Okay, if you still don't believe the lunatics are running the asylum, get a load of an op-ed that a local engineering student from the University of California, Los Angeles wrote for the newspaper, The College Fix, COLLEGE space FIX, The College Fix. What does it say? In it, Sullivan Israel, and I'm naming names. I'm not afraid to name names here. The Blaze wasn't afraid either. I'm naming names. Sullivan Israel shared that he recently took part in an online debate about systemic racism, sponsored by the Bruin Republicans at the University of LA, and that some UCLA students complained that the debate, or during the debate, that automatic soap dispensers are racist. Yes, racist. You know the contraptions in public restrooms and bathrooms across the United States and all over the world? Those public restrooms that have the contraptions that magically emit gobs of liquid soap soon after you place your hands underneath them or if you come up from underneath the contraption and you pop a lever and soap comes out of it. Anyway, Sullivan Israel said that one student said the dispensers don't see her hands because of her hands, the skin's dark pigment in her hands. The soap dispensers don't see the dark pigment of her skin. So that makes the soap dispenser racist. Okay? But it gets better yet. Israel added that another student said that the dispensers force black and brown bodies to show their palms, which are the only light-skinned areas of their hands, before the soap comes out. Okay, this bright bulb of society thinks that the contraptions that dispense soap actually have eyes. And the dispensers force black and brown hands to show their palms, which are the only light areas of the skin, before the soap will come out. What a bunch of crap. The dispensers either have to be knocked into, a device on the underside of the dispensers have to be tapped on some of them before any soap will come out, or they have an infrared device, an IR as they call it, that looks at heat emitting from the skin. And that IR then sees that heat and lets a small amount of that globules of soap to drop onto that person's hand. Okay? It doesn't matter whether that person's hand is green, black, brown, purple, whatever. But because this bright bulb, this person, all of a sudden decided that soap dispensers are racist, this bright bulb doesn't have a mind in its body. Okay? And there's more. More from Israel's piece here. First of all, let me just debunk the basis of this claim for anyone who doesn't know. The sensors on soap dispensers don't see human hands. They don't have human eyes. This is the best part of this article. The dispensers work using a simple device that I just described called a PIR device, a passive infrared sensor that recognizes infrared light, heat, which is emitted by all people, regardless of their race, color, or creed. As long as they're not dead, their hands emit heat, and the passive infrared device sees that heat and dispenses the soap. Also, I don't know about you, but those darn things never worked for me anyway. Okay? Only on a hand, literally, excuse my pun here, on only a handful of occasions have those soap dispensers actually dispensed soap. I had to tap on them, hammer on them, go like this with my hand to try to get the device to dispense the soap. And sometimes that worked. Other times it did not. So those darn things hardly ever worked for even me. And I can't remember how many times I banged on one, hammered on one, tapped on one to try to get the soap out. Yet it never occurred to me to blame anti-Semitism as the cause. So these bright bulbs from the leftist University of California, Los Angeles, have all of a sudden come out and said, oh my gosh, those soap dispensers are racist. But I digress. I want to digress a minute. The point here isn't how a soap dispenser works. It's the idea that students at UCLA thought they were designed with white supremacy in mind. The very persons who were calling soap dispensers racist are really racist themselves because of what they said. Let me repeat it. The persons that said that the soap dispensers were racist are indeed the racists themselves, not us, and not the soap dispensers. Okay? This and other claims like it are not unique perspectives shared by, say, one lone student at a liberal university, but rather a worldview that was reiterated and supported by over 80 students who attended, or more accurately, Zoom bombed the debate. In this op-ed by Sullivan Israel, he dismantled the growing notion that systemic racism and white supremacy is all around us and in everyone and everything. A person encounters, and even more than that, it's a secret force that exists everywhere, permeates all things, and wields power over society. His words. And he called it what it is, a conspiracy theory. Now, as the Blaze reports this, more from Israel's piece here. The obvious objection is that the systemic racism is not a conspiracy theory because it doesn't fit the definition. This bright bulb himself said it's not racism because it doesn't fit the definition. But followers of systemic racism blame it on everything. Yes, these bright bulbs of society that we call liberals blame systemic racism on everything. Okay? Like it's an omnipresent boogeyman. They use it to explain any outcome that they dislike. Facts and data aside, it's racist. Now we have these bright bulbs literally all over our world, especially in the United States of America, because we allegedly have free speech. And I will address free speech in just a minute, because now our speech is not free. Okay? This yo-yo and his believers cite that their lived experience as proof enough of systemic racism, their lived experience. And he says he hears that all the time. Their lived experience, their liberal racist experience. The worst part about this ideology is that it obscures real racism and actual problems we continue to face as a nation or as a world, including the continued marginalization of many groups across this country, including so-called black and brown people, unquote. When people rant and rave about soap dispensers or whatever it delegitimizes the claims of racism when racism actually occurs. Of course, there's still racists in this country. But I will tell you, in my lived experience, and I've been around for a while, I wasn't born yesterday, it was the day before that. There are racists in this country. But most of the racists, I'm going to say most, are racist themselves. But they're looking at other people and calling them racist because heaven forbid that they look at themselves and realize that what they are saying about other people are actually their own values. The systemic racism comes directly from those that are already racist. So how dare they call me or you or others racist when their racism itself is the problem? So I think I've explained myself here. Now, this article at the Blaze adds that it's increasingly difficult to engage with those who cling to a wild conspiracy theory related to what they view as systemic racism, since they become so entrenched in their far-fetched beliefs that they consider all opposition to be inherently evil. Many of the pro-systemic racist students claimed that all opponents to their ideas were simply racist themselves. Okay? Again, the people that are blaming us as being racist are indeed racist themselves. But one way you can combat the problem for now, and Israel Sullivan Israel wrote, is to confidently defy their claims publicly to prevent more unknowing people from falling into these racists' grip. Don't let yourselves fall into these racists' grip. Okay? And you can go over to the UCLA website and go to the article called College Fix, which is the newspaper there. You can read it yourself. It's an op-ed in their paper. And again, I give kudos to the Blaze TV for talking about this because I think it's important. Okay? I believe it's very important. So if you think that a cup of coffee is racist because it's black, the cup of coffee has nothing to do with the racist or with racism. It's the person that is calling the kettle black. Okay? Now, let me go to another situation here. Allegedly, and this again comes from the Blaze Media, allegedly, a super drunk Michigan State Democratic rep, Democrat communist, was hit with a DUI, resisting arrest, and weapons charges. Okay? This is State Representative Jewel Jones, charged with drunk driving and resisting arrest. Okay? Interesting. It's interesting. You want to know something? The person who was resisting arrest and had a weapons charge and was hit with a DUI arrest called the kettle black. He himself was black. Okay? So, all I'm saying is, guys, watch who you call black, because you have no clue what you're talking about. Everybody's racist, except you. Michigan State Representative Jewel Jones is accused of crashing his vehicle while being, quote, super drunk, unquote, and was charged with driving while intoxicated, weapons possession, and resisting arrest after police responded to the scene, and he allegedly became combative. It's interesting how these left-wing lunatics do something and try to blame it on everybody else, and then they become combative, which results in police officers adjusting the force continuum. And then these bright bulbs of society say, oh, but the police are the problem here. The police are being racist. The police are exercising undue force. And these bright bulbs of society say, oh, we don't need police. Because heaven forbid, they're the bright bulb in society. They're the ones that have the problem. And heaven forbid, they're charged with being a problem. Okay? Officers in this particular case said that this Democrat state representative, this communist Democrat state representative, threatened the police multiple times. Okay? And threatened them multiple times with calling Governor Gretchen Whitmer, who's also a Democrat communist, during this incident. The details are this. And why am I talking about this? Because I'm a retired cop. And I have dear friends and relatives and family members that are either retired or presently on duty police officers. So I'm trying to take and turn this from calling the kettle black to calling these racists who they are. Okay? Authorities in this case, state troopers, received multiple calls from witnesses on the evening of April 6th, who reported a black Chevy with vanity license plate reading ejected. I'm sorry, not ejected, elected. E-L-E-C-T-E-D, elected. Okay? I did a faux pas there, ejected. He was elected. That was what his license plate said, elected. And he was driving erratically on Interstate 96, according to the Daily Mail. Shortly after 6 p.m., emergency medical services responded to a report that the vehicle matching that description had crashed. According to prosecutors, the driver, later identified as Jones, the Democrat communist elected representative to the state Congress, became combative with paramedics and even pushed a paramedic in the chest as they were trying to treat his injured passenger. So police were called to the scene. Livingston County Assistant Chief Prosecutor Carolyn Henry told the court during Jones' arraignment that the defendant's behavior was so serious that they had escalated to a point that the troopers had to raise and tase and pepper spray Jones. This is according to what the news media reported. WDIV TV reported it. police had to pepper spray this bozo and tase him to bring him into custody because he was so drunk he had no clue what was going on. And no, this doesn't have anything to do with emergencies and disasters, except at the time it was an emergency because paramedics and police and everybody else responded. Now, the prosecutor added this bright bulb of society continued to be confrontational, uncooperative, using his status, I'm an elected representative, by flashing badges instead of the IDs being asked for by law enforcement. Now, what IDs were being asked for by the law enforcement community at the scene? Can I answer that question as a former law enforcement officer? Sir, can I see your driver's license, proof of insurance, and your registration, please? That's typically what we'd ask. But instead, this bright bulb of society, I'm a state representative, look at my ID. That doesn't mean anything. Okay? Now, the outlet reported that this bright bulb of society, this elected representative, Jones, had a blood alcohol level that was more than twice the legal limit, also known as super drunk, unquote. He also allegedly had a loaded Glock in the cup holder of his vehicle's center console at the time of arrest. A Glock, a handgun, in the cup holder of his vehicle where he could easily have reached it to try to harm or threaten the cops. Anytime, and I'm going to reiterate this so everybody can understand, at no time in 99% of the states here in the United States and probably anywhere around the world are you allowed to have a handgun, a loaded handgun, no less, in the driver's compartment of the vehicle, not in the glove box, not in the center console, not sitting on it, not between your legs, not in the cup holder, not on the dash, not sitting on the seat. The only time you're allowed to have a loaded handgun, it has to, one, be concealed, and you have to have a concealed weapons permit. Okay? That's the law in 99% of the states. And this bright bulb of society, this elected representative, was blowing the laws out. Violation of every law, period. Being drunk in public, driving a vehicle while intoxicated, having a loaded firearm, failure to cooperate with law enforcement to the point that they had to tase and pepper spray this bright bulb. The police report states that this bright bulb threatened troopers multiple times over his position of authority, telling them, quote, I run y'all budget, bro, and I'm invoking the governor's name, unquote. After this bright bulb Jones was tased, he told police, quote, I don't give an FK, bro. When I call Gretchen Whitmer, y'all need IDs, badge numbers, everything. He also allegedly said, quote, if you strike me, it's going to be bad for you. If you hit me, it's going to be very bad for you. I'll call Governor Whitmer right now, unquote. Jones was elected in 2016 at the age of 21, making him the youngest representative ever elected to the House of Representatives in Michigan. He is also an active member of the National Guard, an auxiliary police officer, and a senior deacon in his church. So he should have known the law. You can't drive drunk. You gotta cooperate with the police. You don't carry a loaded firearm in the passenger compartment of your car. Okay? That's just 3 things that he should have known. A National Guard member, I'll bet they fired his butt, because the National Guard won't stand for any of that. You do that and you're toast. Now, I'm going to come slightly down off my soapbox. If found guilty, this bright bulb of society in Michigan faces a minimum of 2 years behind bars, which is a felony. Anything over 1 year in prison is considered a felony. Okay? Being he was arrested with an alcohol level twice over the legal limit makes it a felony then. And reckless driving and all the other charges that he has, possession of a dangerous weapon and a loaded dangerous weapon in his car, which is also a felony, he'll never be able to legally own another weapon again. Okay? This bright bulb of society, the youngest member of Congress in Michigan, won't be able to hold another state position like that again in his life. Wonderful thing, huh? Now, I did not really want to go this far, okay? But I'm tired of this mentality that, oh, I'm better than you are, so I can do it, okay? These people at the University of California, Los Angeles, and I'm not saying all of them, because there are some people that are there for an education, some people that are indeed bright bulbs of society. But these so-called bright bulbs, these left-wing communists, think that they can do whatever they want. Okay? I have an issue with that. A real issue with that. Now, folks, I did not plan on necessarily talking about all this garbage tonight. I just got off of my soapbox because I'm frankly tired of it all. Also, guess what? It's my channel. And I can do what I want to do here. And I have done. Now, because of everything I've talked about, this venue that we're on tonight may take me down, and so I'm not going to have a chance to talk about it again. That's fine. Okay? Race versus, he can't carry a thing because he's on the list of don't sell to. Some people are, and I'm sorry about that. Anyway, guys, Vicki Kellogg says, I still can't find the one on locals.com. I tried Emergency Management Associates too. I showed you that banner at the beginning of the program. It has that logo. It has this Emergency Management Associates logo on it. That should help you try to find it. Okay? Hurricane Heather says she has other means of protection. Heather, that's great. Please don't tell us about it. Please don't tell us about it. I'd rather have you keep it a secret and being able to do it and not get into trouble. Okay, let's get to talking about earthquakes. I have some interesting information that came off our email. And I do try to share information off the email whenever I can. But tonight I'm identifying it as coming from my email. Patrick asks, when is the Garlock fault going off? Or is the San Andreas to be delayed after the Garlock fault goes off? Folks, let me take you to the USGS map. Okay, I want to show you this. Number one, I want to define where the Garlock fault is. And I also want to define where the San Andreas is, because the San Andreas fault meets the Garlock fault in Southern California. Let me adjust this map. First off, let me adjust this map so it gives us the information that we need to see here. Okay? I'm going to adjust it to the satellite picture. I'm also going to, I just adjusted it to where it would show earthquakes here. This morning it showed 239 earthquakes. Now it's showing 330 earthquakes. The USGS map showing 330 earthquakes. Isn't that just amazing? Let me first identify some large earthquakes that have happened today. Let's start down here south of South America on the Antarctic Fault, the South Shetland Islands. We had a 5.0 magnitude earthquake here at 10:56 a.m. this morning. We had an aftershock of a 4.8 later, okay, at 2:12 p.m. this afternoon. So the original large earthquake happened at 10:56. 3 hours and 16 minutes later, we had a 4.8 aftershock down here in the South Shetland Islands, south of South America. Now, what we are showing you, what we are going to show you, is the USGS map of the world. It is not defining all of the earthquakes that have happened today. I happen to know that there's around 1,400 earthquakes that have happened around the world, and USGS is not telling us exactly what happened. I thought I heard music, so I thought I better put in an earphone here. I didn't hear it. That's a good thing. Let's go up to the mid-Atlantic ridge in the center of the Atlantic Ocean between South America and Africa, highlighted in blue on this slide. We have another 5.0 magnitude earthquake. This happened at 6:15 p.m. this evening. Okay, so that's the second 5.0 here. Let's go further north on the mid-Atlantic ridge. This is the north mid-Atlantic ridge. Another 5.0 just happened since we've been on the air tonight. Another 5.0 on the north mid-Atlantic ridge. That makes two large earthquakes in the Atlantic Ocean. Didn't we yesterday state that, in fact, yesterday and the day before that, we stated there were planetary alignments, tectonic plate movement. Remember the VLF waves we talked about? Tectonic plate movement that would cause large earthquakes upwards of an 8.0 before the end of April next week. Yes, guess what? It's happening. Let's go over here to Tonga, Pangai, Tonga. Here's a 6.4 magnitude earthquake that happened at 8:23 p.m. tonight. This is a major earthquake. 220, actually it's not. It's a very strong, nearly a major earthquake over here in Tonga. Now this did not hit near any island in Tonga or Fiji. This was 221 kilometers, approximately 200 miles west-northwest of Pangai Tonga. Okay, but this is a major event. Not a major earthquake, but a major event. Over here in the South Pacific. A 6.4 earthquake. This is big time. Over here, south of that, we had a 5.1 large earthquake, 262 kilometers west-northwest of Haveluloto, Tonga. Okay, again, this was not near any land. And there's a good possibility that no one felt either of these quakes because the water of the Pacific Ocean absorbed the seismic shaking, the seismic waves. If anybody felt anything, it would probably have been a light movement underneath people's feet. That's all. South of there, southwest of there, over in the southern Fiji Islands, we have another large 4.9. Now, why am I calling a 4.9 large? Because a 4.0 to 4.9 is usually classified as a moderate earthquake. The only reason I'm calling it a large earthquake is because I can. Because I know the mentality of this agency. They call anything a 0.9. They reduce anything to the least common denominator. The 0.9 society is alive and well with these agencies. Now, while the everyday employees, such as you and me, can't make that decision, it is management. It is management that makes these decisions to retrograde the earthquakes, to degrade the earthquakes, so people don't know exactly how strong they are. Now, I know for a fact if I went back through earthquakes today and went to the back seismologist study page to find out what happened here, they've already doctored the information. I've seen it happen time and time and time again. That way, the information coincides with what they want people to believe. I've seen it happen where after a major earthquake hits, they don't allow the information to get out for upwards of a day or 2 days later. By that time, they've doctored the information to reflect what they want everybody to believe. Okay, that's what really happens here. That 6.4 could have been a 7.5 or greater. We've seen that happen many times in the past. Let's go over here west of this quake today. This is over at Vanuatu, not far from Isangel, Vanuatu. This was a 4.7 moderate earthquake, 76 kilometers, approximately 65 miles south-southwest of Isangel, Vanuatu. So we've had some seismic activity down here in the South Pacific. Okay, I want you to remember about this seismic activity because I'm going to bring up the South Pacific again in just a very few minutes. Okay, for those of you that are mad at me for not talking about seismic energy and earthquakes from the very beginning of this broadcast, I had some bigger fish to fry and I fried them. Okay, I told the story. Besides that, it's my channel, and I can tell the story if I want to. Pertinent stories deserve airtime. Okay, let's go over here to the Philippines, the southern Philippines. We have another 5.0 large earthquake. South of the Philippines, 123 kilometers east of Sarangani, Philippines. Sarangani, Philippines is a small island south and it's actually southeast of the big island here in the Philippines. Okay, so we have a large earthquake. And what else do we have? We have a 4.5 aftershock here. Then we go over here up into this harbor, this cove, where we have another 4.3 magnitude earthquake. We have actually seen a 7.4 here in this same location a year ago. A year ago. And it shook this whole area. But this 4.3, a moderate earthquake, the water here in the Philippines absorbed this moderate shaking. And I will bet that nobody on land here in the Philippines felt anything. I can almost guarantee it. Let's go north because we have two more earthquakes here in the Philippines that shook. A 4.5 here, and just north of it, we had another 4.5. Twin earthquakes. Twin earthquakes here on the main island, the largest island in the southern Philippines. Okay, so that's what's happened. Now look at the close proximity. You see a red line here. This is the plate boundary. The plate boundary. This area, I'm going to back it out so you can see the entire area here. This area down here in the southern Pacific is the largest subduction zone on this planet. There are 7 different plates that are moving down here. 7 different plates subducting under each other. That is why all these earthquakes happen. The plate movement. Now, Terry and I have showed earlier this week heliograms showing VLF waves. We showed seismograms in major areas of the world showing VLF tectonic plate movement. That is indeed what has happened here. We've shown extraordinary tectonic plate movement from the seismo and the heliogram from Samoa. Now we see all this earthquake activity happening. Now you can define what is actually going on. Okay. Now I'm mostly going to keep this discussion here in the Pacific Ring of Fire. Let me back this out just a little bit more. These are all of the earthquakes in the Pacific Ring of Fire. The Pacific Ring of Fire goes down to the South Shetland Islands on the Antarctica, South Antarctic Ridge, the South Antarctic Ridge down here. It goes up the Chilean coast, the Peruvian coast, the Ecuadorian and Colombian coast, goes around Central America, up around Mexico here, and goes right up the west coast of North America, the United States and Canada. It also goes up here to Alaska. You can see the plate boundary here in Alaska being the Aleutian Islands. This is the plate boundary, and you see a lot of earthquakes up here as a result. Alaska is full of earthquakes. I'm hoping to make contact with Terry W. this weekend and get a full report from her about Alaska. And I'm going to even check with her tonight to see if we can get her on the air tomorrow evening to talk about Alaskan earthquakes and Alaskan volcanoes. She is the resident expert for this entire area. But I'm telling you, this area of the Alaska, this Aleutian Island Ridge, is the northern area, the plate boundary of the Pacific Ring of Fire. And we have earthquakes up here. Sandpoint, Alaska, where last year we had a 7.8 magnitude earthquake. Okay, Sandpoint, Alaska. And look here, Akutan, Alaska, just south of one of the islands in the southwestern peninsula of Alaska. Yet it's right in the Aleutian Island fault zone, a 3.5 earthquake. There have been others here also, near the Fox Islands. Adak, Alaska, a 2.1 magnitude earthquake here. We can go over to Kamchatka, Russia. Here we've had another earthquake, a moderate 4.2. This is the northwestern point of the Pacific Ring of Fire. Now we can go down here further. Okay, we can go down to the Kuril Islands, which is just south of the Kamchatka Peninsula. This area is also the western edge of the of the Pacific Plate, which is, in fact, the western boundary of the plate here. Okay, crazy, huh? Then we can go down to Japan, to Nami, Japan. Off the coast of Nami, Japan, 22 kilometers east, they say it's south-southwest. Let's show this. I want to show you. It's not south-southwest. It's south-southeast of Nami, Japan. A 4.3 magnitude earthquake. Okay? It's not south-southwest. It's south-southeast of Nami, Japan. A 4.3 moderate earthquake. And we can go further south. The Izu Islands down here. Another 4.6 quake. And southwest of there, what do we have here? Another 4.4. And the one here, this 4.4, this is on the western side of the plate boundary. You can see the earthquake fault on separating these two earthquakes. One is on the plate boundary to the east, and one is on the plate boundary to the west. Both typically done. Now there's some other earthquake activity that I want to show you here. Okay. Number one, this. This is Hawaii. Okay. We've talked about Hawaii, haven't we? Well, this one is a new earthquake. It's a 1.7 magnitude tremor down here in Pahala. Mighty fine thing, Pahala. Pahala is the location where lava comes from the South Pacific, from the lava plume in the southern Pacific Ocean, comes here to the island of Hawaii, and Pahala is the distribution point for that lava, that magma. From there, this magma travels up here to Kilauea. South of Kilauea, south-southeast of Kilauea, Halemaumau crater. This crater of Kilauea is actually called Halemaumau crater. Southeast of that crater, folks, we've had a 2.1 earthquake, a minor earthquake today. So the magma coming here from Pahala goes up to where this earthquake is. That's why this earthquake hit. The magma also goes over here to Fern Forest and Leilani Estates. This is the southern east portion of Leilani Estates, where we had a 1.6 magnitude earthquake. South of here in Fern Forest is where we usually see earthquakes. Today, we don't show any here. Possibly because USGS doesn't want us to see it. They don't want to put it on their map. Let's go over here to Mauna Loa. They're showing us 2 earthquakes here at Mauna Loa. There are a lot more than that. We've proven it. The other night we showed you seismograms from Hawaii showing many, many, many more earthquakes that they're not showing on the map. On this map, we have a 1.2 and a 1.5. Interesting, huh? Let me tell you something, guys. Not only is Pahala having quakes, they're having a lot more earthquakes than this. And we showed you what happened earlier this week, just 2 or 3 days ago. That not only was Mauna Loa having earthquakes, but north of there at Mauna Kea was having substantially more earthquakes than that. Okay? Mauna Kea is very, very active, and they don't want to tell anybody about that. Okay? So now you've heard the rest of the story. Okay? You've heard the rest of the story. Okay? North of Hawaii, south of the Gulf of Alaska, over here in the North Pacific Ocean. Okay? See where this earthquake is located? North Pacific Ocean, a 2.6 magnitude earthquake. Let me go east and show you where that earthquake came from. Okay? See over here off the west coast of the United States, over on the Gorda Escarpment, right here. Okay? Right here on the Gorda Escarpment, we had a 3.0 earthquake. Where was this other earthquake here? West of there. Look how far the Gorda Escarpment goes out into the Pacific. The Gorda Escarpment is an undersea earthquake superhighway. It is an ocean-going ridge, a plate boundary in the middle of the Pacific. So we have a 2.6 here in the northern Pacific. And what do we have over here closer to the United States? Closer to Petrolia, California. We have a 3.0 magnitude earthquake. Are these tied in? Yes, they are. One is on one part of the Gorda Escarpment here, and one is over in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. Okay, where does this Gorda Escarpment end? Let's go down here and find out. Okay, it curves. It goes out here towards where this earthquake happened in the North Atlantic, and it continues to go southwest. And then it curves north. Where does it curve north to? Kamchatka Peninsula / the western end of the Aleutian Island chain. Are they related? I believe they are. Okay? Is it possible to have a major earthquake up here in this same part of the Kamchatka Peninsula area or near the Aleutian Islands? Is it possible that this major earthquake that would happen here could travel down this part of this fault line? And yes, this is indeed a fault line, an undersea earthquake superhighway, a ridge under the Pacific Ocean. Could it possibly be related and travel this superhighway through the Gorda Escarpment and hit the Pacific coast of Northern California? Yes, it could. Yes, it could. Now, folks, I know it's late. I have a few more things to talk about here. I want everybody to understand what is going on and what we're seeing here. I think this is very important. Okay? I'm hoping everybody is paying attention. Linda Moses saying it's so beautiful in Utah now. Some places in Utah got some snow today and yesterday. Utah got some snow. I know for a fact because my buddies, my friends, live in the mountains northeast of Salt Lake. And those Uinta mountains got 4 inches of snow. 4 inches of snow. My golly gee. My golly gee, as Radar would say. Or as Gomer Pyle would say, Shazam! Sergeant Carter! Sergeant Carter! Yes, snow northeast of Salt Lake. Fact. Okay? And I'm not yet finished here. Not quite. Because I have yet to finish defining this ring of fire. From Japan, we talked about these earthquakes around the southern and central area of Japan. Let's drop down again to the Philippines. Davao City, Philippines, where this earthquake hit near Tubulan, Philippines here. It's 4.3. Davao, Philippines is right next to it. Okay? Mindanao Island. 2 earthquakes up here. 2 earthquakes near Sarangani, Philippines. An aftershock, 4.5 aftershock of a larger 5.0 earthquake here in Sarangani, Philippines. This again is the southwest area, southwest side of the Ring of Fire. The Ring of Fire. The Ring of Fire continues down here to include Indonesia, Australia, and New Zealand. You notice earthquakes down here in Tonga area, Fiji, and Vanuatu today? They're all part of the Ring of Fire in the southern Pacific. The southern Pacific. Okay. They're all part of the Ring of Fire. This whole area here is part of the Ring of Fire. And up here, in the United States, we've had some earthquakes, haven't we? Yes, we most assuredly had. We even had another explosion up here in Canada. Princeton, Canada. We had another explosion. An explosion of a coniferous. Yeah. We had an earthquake down here in Washington today, near Ashford, Washington, they're saying. Where do we know Ashford, Washington from, guys? Can you say Mount Rainier here? This is over on the western flank of Mount Rainier here, a 1.4 magnitude tremor. As we've continued to show you, the agency does not want to define where these earthquakes and these tremors are. They shouldn't say they're near Ashford, Washington, but say they're near Mount Rainier, a volcano. That would better define exact locations. Now, while there was this one here, I want to point this out, okay? I want to point this out. This I want to show you because this is typical of this agency. Look what it says about this shaking going on. It says there was a 1.3 explosion. 11 kilometers south-southeast of Mount Rainier. Again, this is not south-southeast of Mount Rainier. This is west of Mount Rainier, nowhere near Mount Rainier. 11 kilometers, not south-southeast as this map purports. I wanted to show that to you because truth is what we're looking at, right? At least that's what I thought we were looking at, truth. Okay? Nowhere near Mount Rainier. And they said it was south-southeast, it's south-southwest. Sorry. Lies. Okay? Lies. Go figure. Ray Spur says, is there any way we can get up-to-date satellite images of those volcanoes? Not really. You can go to Google Earth. You can pull up satellite images on Google Earth, but they're not up-to-date pictures. Even Kilauea. You saw the USGS map of Kilauea showing the picture. It's still showing no magma at Kilauea. Kilauea started erupting January 20th. The crater is nearly full of magma. It's like 400 feet below the rim of the Halemaumau crater at Kilauea. But there's no magma to be seen on the satellite photography. That's because the photography was taken between September 2018 and January 20th, 2021, when the magma came back into the crater. So no, even Google Earth is not going to have up-to-date satellite images. The only satellite images they might have is in the images that they present on their webpage, on the Hawaii Volcano Observatory webpage. Then they might. But that's it. Okay? Margaret Wilson says, we're a smaller group here. That's because I tried to go over to this channel to do the broadcast rather than on our normal channel, thinking that coming over here, we might be able to get more people subscribing here. Well, even Scooter Pie didn't make it. I'm sorry to say. Okay? I'm sorry. Okay? I tried. Okay? Sage Pup says, Heather, I got your back. I'll be your wingman tonight. I don't need a wrench. I am armed with a good sense of humor. Sage Pup, yes, you are. Sage Pup, guys, is a friend of ours. She's been here for quite some time. And Sage Pup is a wrench, a mod on another channel of our friends. Okay? Sage Pup is good people. We appreciate her being here too. Sage Pup, guys. Wonderful. Thanks for being here. Anyway, folks, this is crazy. This is crazy. So we're showing you earthquakes, and they don't even give correct locations to these quakes. Notice the number of earthquakes up and down the San Andreas Fault here. All sorts of earthquakes here. Okay? Up here, Lake Pillsbury, California. North of the geysers. We have a 3.9. That is a considerable earthquake north of the geysers here. A 3.9, and we know what the 0.9 society is. Downgrading earthquakes. This was probably a lot larger than a 3.9. Probably a moderate earthquake. Okay, now I wanted, since someone brought this up, Okay, one of our we got an email from someone that brought this up. Folks, let's go over here to Ridgecrest, Searles Valley. This is a 0.6 magnitude tremor here in Searles Valley. Okay, just south of Searles Valley. Okay, I'm pointing out right now. This is the Garlock Fault. You can see it leaving Searles Valley, traveling all the way down southwest here to the San Andreas Fault. Okay, here is the Garlock Fault right there, coming together with the San Andreas Fault in North Los Angeles. The Garlock Fault does run from the Searles Valley, Ridgecrest area, where we had that 7.1 earthquake here a few years ago. It runs all the way down from Ridgecrest down here to Los Angeles. Now the question was, let me bring it back here. Now we're full circle here. The question is, when is the Garlock Fault going off, or is the San Andreas Fault, or is it delayed after the Garlock Fault goes off? In other words, is the Garlock Fault going to go off anytime soon? Or is the San Andreas Fault going to go off and then the Garlock? Okay? All we've had so far when it comes to the Garlock, all we've had so far when it comes to the Garlock Fault are small minor earthquakes since that 7.1 up in Ridgecrest a few years ago. It'll be 3 years July 4th coming this year. It'll be 3 years. Okay? It's just short of 3 years now. Is the Garlock Fault going to go off and then the San Andreas? Or is that fault line up in the Mojave Desert going to go off again and then maybe have an earthquake on the Garlock? I don't know. I can't tell you that. I don't have a crystal ball. All I have is a water bottle. And the water bottle's not telling me anything. Okay? I can put the water bottle on my desk. Okay? The water in it will be shaking for a moment or two, and then it will stop unless we have a tremor or an earthquake. Okay? There's my water bottle. Do we see any shaking on the water bottle? No. Okay? No shaking of the desk. No minor earthquake here in North Carolina, where I'm at. No minor earthquake or any kind of earthquake right now here in North Carolina. Lucky me. Okay? So the answer, we don't know whether the Garlock Fault is going to go off first or the San Andreas Fault, which we're showing both right here, or back out here, or we can show what is going on here in the Mojave Desert, where we've had all sorts of earthquakes. Yes, north of the Garlock Fault, guys, in Bodefish, California, we've had a 1.5 magnitude tremor here. Bodefish, California, folks, is also a volcanic area. Okay? It's also a volcanic area. You can see craters all over this area. All over this area. We could spend a good half hour, maybe 45 minutes or an hour, showing you craters here near Bodefish, California. We've had plenty of earthquakes in this area. Why? Again, it's a volcanic area, folks. Okay? This area right here between Ridgecrest And this point north up here at Little Lake, California, guess what, folks? It's an earthquake fault area. We've seen what happened here almost 3 years ago, and we're still seeing earthquakes throughout this whole area, and many earthquakes are still not being reported. We've shown you seismograms of this area. They don't even show half the earthquakes that are occurring in this area, including Kozo volcano. Kozo volcano, they're not showing. And yet we know for a fact that Kozo volcano has dozens of earthquakes every day. It's a freaking volcano. And it's got magma coming into it, and that magma is causing earthquakes. We showed that to you yesterday. But they're not showing that. Heaven forbid we get the truth out of the agency. Okay? So I answered that question from our email. Now, there was another question that I want to broach here in email before the end of this program. And it's a fairly important question. And that's why I want to talk about it. Before I do, Ruth writes here in our email, I opened an account on locals.com, which is a community site, and typed in your full name, Emergency Management Associates 2, and nothing comes up close. Please try to scroll through their channels and find our logo. I opened up the channel today. It's there. We are going to use it. Within the next 48 hours, I'll have another channel opened up elsewhere as well. I want to have plenty of backup in case YouTube goes on a tirade and shuts us down. Okay? So, Ruth, we are working on it. We are working on it. Now, getting back to my conversation about another question. Okay? This came from Terrell Blackstar. Okay, Terrell and I have talked before. We have not always agreed on things, but now we've come to some semblance of agreement on a lot of things. So Terrell writes and wanting me to forward this email to Terry, which I've already done. So Terry, if you're listening, or if you find this program, which I hope you do, you're going to find this email from Terrell Blackstar. Terrell Blackstar is talking about earthquakes here. Okay? He's talking about earthquakes. And rightly so. There's a lot of earthquakes here. There are a lot of earthquakes here. Now, what does Terrell want to talk to us about? Okay? His big question is, here are some interesting links. He sent me some links with a possible event for our investigation. He's doing seismic investigations as well. If you have time to search around the web, this is my watch area. He's looking at the same things we are looking at. Okay? Something appears to have happened relating to the anticipated major uplift event that we saw in the origination zone. That origination zone is in the Caribbean Sea, north of Colombia. If you watched our program from yesterday, we reported what the Volcano Discovery Channel said, that there had been a 7.2 magnitude earthquake in the Caribbean north of Colombia yesterday. Now, while there was a very large earthquake reported in Venezuela. It was not a 7.2. And if we indeed had at least a 7.2, where the Discovery Channel said we did, then it would have showed up around the world on all the seismograms, including Cascadia seismograms that we showed you last night. But a 7.2 magnitude earthquake did not appear anywhere else except a close one in Venezuela, and it was not a 7.2. So the 7.2 magnitude earthquake did not happen. It was a mistake called out by Volcano Discovery. I wanted to make that perfectly clear as well. A mistake by Volcano Discovery. There's a lot of things that are going on. And there's some other references that Terrell Blackstar has given us. Yes, we are going to look into it. I'm hoping that Terrell Blackstar and dozens of other people that aren't presently in our chat room will see this program and understand why we came over here and that we talked about this tonight. Okay? Terrell asked me to send a copy of this over to Terry, which I have done. And there are several other people that have gotten copies of this email as well. Okay? Terrell goes on to explain this. Your electric universe plasma cosmology explanations for rising decompression magma migrating just below the crust around the globe has a better explanation. The brown dwarf star from your commentary is actually the invisible remnant remains of our sun's once larger binary twin, now positioned between the sun and the Libra constellation. The uncatalogued star is likely a cousin to a slowly rotating magnetar-type neutron star that, if measuring only 10 or 12 kilometers in diameter, would have twice the mass of our sun. The black star is connected to the Earth, and this expanding superplume, remember that superplume we talked about in the southern Pacific Ocean that feeds magma up to Hawaii and all over the world? That's what he's talking about. And this expanding superplume through a black star Earth magnetic portal connection that sends massive doses of redirected solar electromagnetic energy to all the planets based on the black star planet proximity. The PDF containing this week's Black Star Report newsletter is attached to this email, along with the seismic charts dating back to 2014. The superplume image you see using the JPEG link was taken in 2015. And yes, all these links and these pictures we have, and I will be posting them at another time, maybe tomorrow. But while the updated magma plume diagram attached to this message shows how the superplume expanded to become a global phenomenon from making far too many mantle plume connections. Look at the seismic chart data from 2018 to week that the Earth stood still for an entire USGS reporting period. Okay, and then he has a link to a YouTube channel. Please take time to watch this video for obtaining a better picture of what is really happening in the Earth mantle transition zone. The superplume, he goes further to say that the superplume is filled with magnetite that causes the rapid magnetic North Pole migration. As the superplume buoyancy barrier corridors pushed into the Atlantic Ocean, where they have already pushed together. The superplume is growing out of control, and the massive horn formations are pushing up into the rocky type magma, supporting the crust that is pressurizing the magma around the entire world. And then he has a Brighteon video link. He goes to talk about the harmonic tremors over in Indonesia. It's not just harmonic tremors. There are small, minor, and major earthquakes that have been happening in Indonesia. We already know that. We've talked about it. Now, I will be getting back with Terrell about this. He's left information on how to contact him, and I actually believe I have his telephone number someplace. I will be contacting him. I want to make it clear what is going on here. Terrell Blackstar has contacted us, and we have forwarded information from Terrell to Terry. Terry and I were going to talk about it, and I want to talk with Terrell about it as well. So that's what's going on. I know it's taken a long time to get through all of this. Now, also something that I haven't talked about yet happened earlier this afternoon. There was a 5.0 or greater earthquake off the coast of southern Mexico. We've been reporting 3s and 4s for a long time in southern Mexico. And maybe I just need to show you what is going on in southern Mexico real quick. Let me back this out. Okay, let me back this USGS map out. Okay, the only earthquake that USGS is reporting down here is a 4.8. The 5.2 was downgraded to a 5.0 the last time I heard, and now it's a 4.8 off the southwest coast, the southwest coast of southern Mexico, right next to Guatemala. It's the only earthquake that they're reporting down here. It's a sad day when they don't report exactly what's going on. They report a few earthquakes in Puerto Rico or even in the Virgin Islands, but they won't be honest with anybody about the rest of it. That's a sad day. Anyway, folks, now it's late, and I recognize it, okay? Now it's 10:16 on the East Coast, it's 8:16 in the Mountain West, and it's also 7:16 on the Pacific Coast of the United States and Canada. We've been on the air just about 2 hours. I want to thank everybody that's been part of this program tonight. Before I leave you, I want to show you something. Last week, before I came here to North Carolina, before I left Salt Lake City, I was handed a picture by my soon-to-be former stepson. He wanted me to have this picture. Okay? This picture is a representative picture of Jesus Christ. This picture was done by Liz Lemon Swindle. Liz Lemon Swindle. Swindle. Okay? I wanted to show you that, but I also wanted to include this as a final devotional for tonight. Early in his ministry, Jesus sat on the shores of Galilee and said to the multitudes, "Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden. Take my yoke upon you and learn of me, and you shall find rest unto your souls." This is found in Matthew 11, verses 28 through 29. It goes on to say, and I'm going to share this with you, we feel heavy laden at times, and we pray the Lord will take away our burdens. But rather than remove our sufferings, the Lord instead asks us to walk alongside him, be yoked together. Instead of relieving our burdens, removing our sufferings, the Lord asks us to walk alongside him, yoked together. It is only as we walk with him we come to learn who he is and how much we walk together. He loves us. While our burdens are still upon our shoulders, when we walk together with the Lord and let him carry them, our burdens feel lighter, and we find the rest he gives us so freely. That is the message I want to leave with you tonight. As we walk together with the Lord, we will find our rest. As we walk together with the Lord, our burdens can become lighter. Our burdens will feel lighter because we are walking with the Lord and the Lord is giving us strength. Folks, I'm asking you tonight to do that very thing. Do that very thing. Jason, I'm sorry you're leaving, or you may have already left. We're ending this program right now, but I wanted to let you know what is going on here. Okay? Antonio was wondering, he came in late because he just found us apparently. Has the situation in Russia and Ukraine been being discussed yet? No, it has not. We do have a report about Russia and Ukraine, and I wasn't even going to talk about this tonight. Russia has backed down. NATO threatened Russia with a complete attack. The entire world against Russia. And Russia said it's going to pull back to avoid a major war, which is good. Now let's see if they do that. Let's see if Putin will tell the truth, because there's already been conflict down there in Ukraine, because Russia is on the move to do a major land grab. So is China over in Taiwan. We are tailing a huge Chinese warship over there in the Taiwan Gulf, or Gulf of Taiwan. Folks, things are still not over. We'll see if Putin abides by his agreement with NATO. Putin's been known to lie before. He's lied to Trump. He's lied to a lot of us. Okay, we'll see. A lot of people don't trust Putin anymore. Maybe there will be a revolt. People are already protesting his doings in Russia. Okay? But while we've been not talking about that, we talked briefly about the Postal Service doing a number to us and the Postal Service police monitoring our social media, including me. I'm sure they're monitoring me because I have made no bones about what is going on. I have attacked the Democrats, verbally attacked the Democrat Communist Party, and I'll do it again and again and again. I don't trust them, have no reason to trust them. None of us do. Take that to everybody you talk to. Now, folks, take this video and spread it like wildfire. Make sure that everyone you talk to has a copy of this video. Share the location with everybody so everybody knows the location of the Emergency Management Associates Preparedness channel. That's why we did the broadcast here tonight. And yes, it's hard to find. Even someone close to me couldn't find it tonight. I will help that person. But by sharing this channel and sharing our message, a lot of people are going to get it. I may be back on the other channel tomorrow. I am hoping YouTube doesn't close me down because of this broadcast. They might. Or they might just shut this part of the channel down. Let them. We're not done. The fight's not over until after the fat lady sung, and I don't see any fat ladies singing. Anyway, folks, I hope you have a good night. We've given you a devotional, I hope, that will comfort you and leave you with some solace and some love from our Savior. We love you. We want to help you. Please think of the Savior and let the Savior help you as well. Now, guys, as I've said before, that's the way it is. Friday, April 23rd, 2021. If anything else happens tonight, we'll be back on the other channel to report on it as soon as the information becomes available. Until then, folks, a lot of stuff is going on. We are going to report on it till we're blue in the face or till we're gone. We will return. God bless you. Know that we love you. And God be with you until we meet again. Have a great night, everybody. We will see you tomorrow, if not before. Take it easy, everybody. God bless.